at that conference. And so, but another thing that we're about, an opportunity that came our way about 9 months ago, is to have what's called Greenhouse in the life of our church here at First Alliance. And this develops young leaders with a depth for a breadth that was so exciting that I want you to hear about it this morning. So much so that we hired part-time Greenhouse director, and his name is Kendall McKee. So come on up. This is one of our newest staff members. I want to interview him this morning.
Morning.
So we'll get into Greenhouse and what that is, because that's not self-explanatory. It takes some explaining to do. But Kendall, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're joining our staff part-time.
Yes. Good morning. 11 o'clock, my people. Let's go.
We love 11 o'clock.
So my name is Kendall McKee. My wife, Katie, and I have been at First since September of last year. We transitioned over here from New City, which was such a good thing for us in the time that we were really just needing to kind of be held in a way. And this church held us, which was really great. And so Katie and I, she's in the front row, but she's also on the screen. So, and that's our Griffey Bob there.
That's your dog.
He's my favorite. So
there you go. And you guys are in the adoption process, true?
Yes. So we are in the adoption process, which has been a booger and a half. So,
that can be. So we'll be praying for you.
We've been in it. Actually, September will be almost 4 years.
Okay, you've been at First Alliance. Wow. Okay, so we've been at First Alliance for how long?
Since September of 2021.
Okay, good. Okay, so
about a year.
Greenhouse, that's not self-explanatory. Tell us about that and why this is so significant and the impact it can have.
Yeah, so Greenhouse, I'm not a botanist, I'll just say that first off, but Greenhouse is a leadership development program that the CMA at large is really doing to be a part of what we're doing in this nation to reach the next generation leader. And what that generally looks like, there's not an age limit that's there, even though like typically it's between the ages of like 18 and 28, but I don't want to hold it to that. I want to say that as a church as well. Like the Lord is bringing people at all stages to dive into development of their self. And so that's what this program is really about. Is if you see on the graph here, I know it's really hard to see, but that green dot on the right side it says emerging leader development. And so this is something that the CMA is involved in and really pushing forward. And Greenhouse itself is how we're expressing that at First Alliance Church. And we're going to sit in a 24-month program with these residents to rise up. And I believe we're going to try to start with 2, but it's not just 2. This is a program that First Alliance is going to be involved in for the foreseeable future. So we'd love to have this be a robust community where we're just helping people really define who they are as Christians and who the Lord is bringing out them to be. So a lot of it has to do with personal development and what I like to call personal evangelism, where the Lord is speaking into our hearts for those people. And I do have a story. Can I tell a story?
Absolutely.
So at New City, which is where we've gone previously, we had a greenhouse program. First Alliance was a big part of that program. They were all the mentors and everything that we supplemented through First Alliance. So you might actually have been involved or heard of this process before. But behind me so that was a baptism with me and Zach Mearcreeps. You guys probably know him. But on the right side, those are residents. And all the residents except for 2, we had 2 people in a resident cohort before that. So all of these residents, so 7 out of the 8 now work in the Alliance at some point. Yeah. So some of them work in the national office, some of them are pastors, some of them work at Grace College or Grace University, the Alliance School, or King. Sorry.
Crown.
Yes, we're just gonna keep moving.
Yeah.
So
I'm along for the ride.
Yeah. So, but I wanted to tell a story about Ciro. So Ciro is the guy with the hair that looks kind of like my hair right now, in the middle of that picture. Ciro's a great friend of mine, came here from Turkey, actually. So when you pull up your map here in a little bit in your sermon, Izmir is in Turkey, and it's on that map, and so that's where he's from. And he came to New City, did our greenhouse program there for 2 years, and now is working at the national office. Ciro is a very, very, very great friend of mine. If you had the opportunity to meet him, you know how special that is. And so there's just been countless success stories already in our city that this program has developed. And so I am looking forward to First Alliance really getting into the nitty-gritty with all of that and being able to see some incredible moments of God through these people.
Yeah, so it's soul care for young leaders, good training, good theology, practical experiences, then sent out for greater kingdom impact. That's the vision, correct?
Yeah, and I think it's best summed up in Ephesians 4, when the Ephesians 4 is talking about the unity in the body, but Ephesians 4:11 is specifically where we allot to talk about in the Alliance and in reference to leadership development. And it says, now these are the gifts Christ gave the church: the apostle, the prophet, the evangelist, the pastor, and the teacher. And those are specifically kind of grown in people, and that's kind of where we harvest that out of. But in verse 12 is specifically where it doesn't often get referenced, but what I like, and I think where our program fits in. It says, their responsibility is to equip God's people to do his work and build up the church and the body of Christ. And I think that's what we're going to do here with our greenhouse program. And I know that's what we're going to do with God's power and provision and all that stuff. We're going to come in and help these people become the best versions of themselves and have a really robust relationship with the Lord. Because we can develop leaders all day long, but if they're not attached to the hem of God, like, it's just not going to come out pretty. Yeah. And so God is the best at developing leaders, and that's what I want to do.
Good, healthy leaders. Healthy leaders lead healthy churches for a greater harvest. And so that's why that is so significant. So, hey, you'll be in the back afterwards. I know people will have questions. We're excited about this. And so this is not just a he responsibility. This is a we responsibility with this young leaders, so which is really very exciting. Let me pray, and then we'll get into the message this morning. So, dear Jesus, thank you for Kendall, and thank you for the young leaders that are be coming our way. We want to be found faithful. We see mentoring all throughout the New Testament, that what you've given to us, we pass on to others for the sake of the advancement of the church and the glory of Jesus Christ. So we ask for your blessing, and we ask to keep turning to you for all things, knowing that you are sufficient. And the church said together,